What if, instead of locking up Luffy, Kaido decides to not spare him and finish him off? Kaido sees Luffy laying on the ground, and he already spared some red-haired dude from the worst generation earlier. So, instead of deciding to spare someone from the generation again, he decides to kill one Monkey D. Luffy with a Thunder Bagua. Now, the Straw Hats find this out, and so they want to go get revenge for their captain and stuff, right? Zoro is off on the boat with that one dude, you know what I'm saying? But Sanji and them, they're all heated and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But Law is telling them, like, we got a plan, let's stick to it. It'll be our best chance to take down Kaido. And Sanji usually being the logical one, he like, you know what, you right, you know what I'm saying? So the Straw Hats decide to wait it out to go get their revenge. Now, we cut back to Zoro. Zoro flees the boat immediately because he's seen it on the newspaper, Luffy Turtle dead or some shit in a plaza or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So he leaves the boat immediately. And then he goes to look for Kaido on his own out of rage for the loss of his captain. He ends up wandering around and runs into some gates, you know what I'm saying? He breaks through the wall and finds a bunch of prisoners. Queen is off performing somewhere because of plot reasons. Yep. So Zoro ends up freeing the green frog dude who apparently is one of the samurai. And then he frees Usta's Kid. Kid says he wants revenge on Kaido, and Zoro wants the same thing, but neither of them offer to team up because they both are not the team up type, you know what I'm saying? So Kid ends up going to look for Killer. So as Zoro has freed the prisoners and has fled the prison looking for Kaido, Kaido ends up pretty much telling Big Mom, like, hey, Luffy's dead. No point in coming here now. But I mean, if you want to come here, be my guest. And Big Mom decides that she will not come there right now. You know what I'm saying? She was going there to kill Luffy herself, and she now does not have the chance to do so. Okay? So Big Mom ends up going back to Whole Cake Island, and then when Germa invades, all them motherfuckers captured, and they not escaping. Caesar tries to help them, and he gets absolutely smacked down. Zoro ends up running his way back to the crew by accident and tells them about Luffy. They tell him they already know, and they're waiting for the right time to strike, which is the day of the raid. And then he receives Enma. So, the day of the raid, they're heading towards Onigashima. Jinbei ends up arriving kind of late. You know what I'm saying? Just like he did originally. And then they tell him about Jinbei's death, or Luffy's death. And Jinbei is obviously not happy with his death. So, everyone storms in out of pure rage. Everyone's putting their blood and soul to every fight, every punch. You know what I'm saying? Zoro trying to make it to the rooftop. Kid finally found Killer and them were also trying to get to the rooftop. Law obviously trying to get to the rooftop. Everyone trying to get to the rooftop. You know what I'm saying? So, eventually, Queen and King end up being there. You know what I'm saying? Marco ends up taking on King. You know what I'm saying? So, Marco's going to take on King for them. And, he's good. And so Zoro could get to the rooftop like he did last time. So, Zoro's going to start heading up to the rooftop. And Law and Kid are already there. You know what I'm saying? So is Killer. Killer was with Kid. So, they're already up there. And the fight's beginning without Zoro, you know what I'm saying? Zoro on his way to the rooftop, a little lost right now, running through the building after, passing King and Queen. But, so, Killer attacks Kaido and dies, you know what I'm saying? Kaido just, like, two taps him, you know what I'm saying? Hits him once and then hits him with, like, two Thunder Baguas or something, you know what I'm saying? Or just a singular Thunder Bagua, and he's out of here. He's packed up, you know? He not much of a threat to Kaido. Kaido's just whatever with Killer, you know, so Kid and Law begin their attack, and then Kid and Law don't use their awakenings at first. So, with that being said, Kid and Law are obviously struggling against Kaido the Yonko of the Sea. They're both, at face death, and then just like what happened in some other universe, apparently, so I was told, Kid asks Law if he has an awakening, and he says yes. And they realize they're gonna have to use that. We cut back down to King and Queen. You know, Marco's doing fair his own against King. However, his shitty ass ability, he gets tired fast. So it's a great ability, but he getting tired. So he ends up taking a nap. So Sanji ends up having to fight both King and Queen at the same time right now. You know what I'm saying? And is struggling. You know what I'm saying? He was handling Queen earlier before Marco took a nap. But it's not the same right now. But Sanji, just like last time, will now unlock his blue flame. And he still will be struggling because he doesn't know how to do damage to King quite yet. There's some going on with King to where he can't do too much damage to him. Marco may have figured it out, but he's sleeping. So, because he has done a little bit of damage to King. Queen is just a nuisance, you know what I'm saying? King's a bigger threat, but Queen's also being a nuisance for Sanji. It's very difficult to handle. So, Zoro finally ends up going to the rooftop. And we see Kid using the big bull machine before actually fully using, like, awakenings and stuff, I guess, you know what I'm saying? So he ends up using the big bull machine. And Kaido just hits it with a Thunder Bagua and completely shatters it. Kid is on the ground, huffing and puffing, damn near defeated, you know what I'm saying? So Zoro tries to get in on the action. You know, Zoro's putting in some work, you know what I'm saying? He's not clashing with Kaido or not, but he trying to put in some work. Zoro ends up using Flying Dragon Blaze, and Kaido ends up dodging the attack. Kid is in shock while panting on the floor. Law is impressed. So with this happening, Kid is still sitting on the floor, panting and bleeding. Law and Zoro end up pretty much tag teaming Kaido. They're teleporting around and all that stuff, right? Law hits him with, a shock willy. You know what I'm saying? Kaido's like, oh, okay, you stronger than I thought you was. Ends up hitting him with a Thunder Bagua, you know what I'm saying? Ends up hitting Zoro with a Thunder Bagua. And then we cut back to Sanji. Sanji is still fighting King and Queen by himself. Jinbei ends up coming in to help Sanji. So Jinbei is now fighting Queen, where King is helping fight is fighting Sanji. So now everyone's in their respective 1v1s. Jinbei, although he may not be as strong as Sanji, he's putting in work against Queen, you know what I'm saying? Queen is not having no easy time with Jinbei, you know what I'm saying? They both are definitely struggling against each other right now, though. And with that being said, so with Jinbei struggling against Queen, with them struggling against each other, it's like a high to extreme diff fight right now, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's looking like it's going to be. Sanji is struggling to do damage to King. He just doesn't know how to do damage to King. So, King ends up putting in a lot of damage against Sanji, you know what I'm saying? But he ends up regenerating it, getting his Germa abilities, you know what I'm saying? Then he's getting this self-conflict coming in, but King's not letting him run away or nothing. He just can't get away from King. So, King's putting in damage again, although Sanji, he's regenerating it, given the amount of time it takes to actually generate. He's still generating most of his attacks, okay? King comes in, and this time, he goes for the head. He goes for the neck. Sanji can't dodge. But Sanji does end up blocking the attack. Sanji finally figures out, with a kick, that the way to do damage is when he turns his flame off. However, he figured it out too late, as King cuts off his head. And then Jinbei ends up getting tag team and pretty much gets murked instantly. You know what I'm saying? that man Jinbei, rest in pieces. So, with everyone fighting on the top, cut back to Law, Kid, and Zoro. And, Law sitting next to Kid for a second. A little tired from his abilities and, Kaido putting in work on him, you know what I'm saying? Kid tried to jump back into the fight, but, he went right back to the ground, obviously, you know what I'm saying? With Zoro here, Law doesn't have to worry about carrying his ass so much, so Kid's actually getting hit a couple times now, you know what I'm saying? So Zoro and Kaido get a little one-on-one matchup, right? So, Zoro uses his 9-sword style to scar Kaido. And Kaido brings up the Conqueror's Haki shit again. And then Zoro's like, what the fuck is you talking about? And then, Zoro's preparing for another attack. Kaido don't like that. Kaido comes in and just hits him with a full force Thunder Bago attack. You know what I'm saying? And Zoro, that took a lot out of Zoro, right? But Zoro not done yet. He gonna try to run the ones a little bit more. He gonna get another named attack off. But after that, it's R.I.P. Zoro. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for the Straw Hats and the Heart Pirates and the Scrub Pirates, okay? Kid ends up building his machine. Kaido ends up looking to 5 seconds into the future when he builds a machine and sees that it doesn't attack. So he's like, it's gonna take. So Kaido's sitting here feeling disrespected. It's gonna take you longer than 5 seconds to attack me? Are you kidding me? You think I'm slow? Ends up dismantling Kid with a Thunder Bago. That boy is tired. Like, Kid's gonna try to fight through it this time, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just sitting on the floor because he's trash. so him and Law are both gonna go flying in. They're gonna have to give it everything they got. Law using his Karoom, Kid using his repel attack and shit, you know what I'm saying? Kid ends up repelling him to the ground, or attracting him to the ground and shit like that. And then Law gets a Thunder Shock Willie in. And then Kaido ends up breaking free from that shit and hits them both with the Thunder Bagua. Law and Kid still continue to struggle with their fight. No matter what Law does, no matter what Law and Kid do. So Law goes in for an attack. Law ends up going for a Gamma Knife and ends up doing some serious damage to Kaido's organs. And then Law gets hit real hard. He needs a little bit of a break. So Kid, trying to clutch up, is not doing so successfully. However, he bought a little bit of a time. He bought a little bit of a time. Kid may not be doing much, but he does have endurance. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing we can give him. He will keep fighting through pain. At least try to, okay? Because he can't get his gun off because it takes too long of his charge time, and Kaido not going to let him get it off. You know what I'm saying? Kaido knows he's trash for needing 10 seconds to launch an attack. You know what I'm saying? It would have needed more mass anyways, right? So, Law has an idea. Law tells Kid to attract the sword to Kaido. So that way, Law could consistently do something like the Shock Willie or something. Although he might be taking hits, he could try to do that. You know what I'm saying? And see where it goes. You know what I'm saying? Now he could do non-stop attacks with like the Karoom sword. And that's exactly what happens. And then with Kaido focus on Law, Kid could finally get his 10-second attack off. And it does a little bit of something, you know what I'm saying? It might break a rib or two, but nothing Kaido can't handle. And then it's, buy me 10 more seconds. That's what Kid's sitting here telling Law as he's non-stop attacking Kaido with the Karoom sword being attracted, to Kaido. But Law realized this isn't working right now. He tries to give him a knife again, but Kaido doesn't do that. So Law takes his sword from Kaido. The repel and stuff was released. Law, the goal is to now try to get Kaido off the island somehow. Kaido is their biggest threat. Let's take him out of here. Hopefully someone could deal with King or Queen. Hopefully they have already dealt with someone with those two. It is what they're thinking. Is what's in their mind right now, right? So Kid ends up making Kaido stuck to the ground with his magnetic abilities, okay? With his magnetic awakening, and ends up building the railgun. Law ends up making his sword really long, trying to get Kaido off the island through the floors pretty much. He's flying through the buildings, and then Kid comes in with the combo attack, hits him with a damn punk. However, Kaido just turns into a dragon and flies back up. Kid and Law are at their limit. He hits Kid with a blast breath. Kid has been knocked unconscious, staring at Kaido, glaring at Kaido with his conqueror's haki, similar to how Luffy was before Kaido had killed him. So, Kaido doesn't like that. This is the second time Kid had did it himself. Kaido walks up to him, and Law, barely able to get the attack in, hits him with the Thunder Shock Willie. And Kaido lets Law know that he fucked up and ends up killing Trafalgar D. Law. Kid's still unconscious. Kaido tells him, "You may be glaring at me, but I will not spare your life twice." This is the end of the end of Usopp's Kid. And Kaido will eventually win the war. This is the last time anyone in the world will ever hear of the Straw Hat, the Heart, and the Scrub Pirates. Last words that were spoken before Kaido killed the entire alliance was from Usopp. "Luffy! Why? Why did you fail us? Why did you have to go and die?" Alright, y'all, this was kind of like a new style video I tried to do. I tried to do like a storytelling type of video or like a scenario type of video. Let me know if y'all enjoyed this kind of thing. Comment anything I could do better or any other like scenarios type shit you might have in mind for me to do something else like this, some other storytelling thing like this, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, any suggestions on how I could do these better and any other ideas you may have, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Peace out.